Sweet.
All right, I have hit the button. So,
All right, cool.
we're on live, so.
There is a swear jar
That's
for,
right.
for
Oh, boy.
Mr. Hurley over here.
I won't swear, I promise.
All right, cool. Hello and welcome to the MulletCast, the podcast where business and pleasure collide. I'm Evan Balmer,
What's going on, Mike Mercio?
and we're joined today by Andrew Hurley from RMS Title and Appraisal. You can check out RMS Title and Appraisal at rmsta.com and on Instagram at RMS Title and Appraisal. Andrew, what's going on?
Not much, guys. Thanks for having me today.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. Big 29.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, as everyone's reminding me, I'm a year away from 30, so it's awesome.
That is exciting.
Anything exciting today?
No.
Besides this.
I mean, this is a big highlight of the day. You guys,
month?
Mike provided me with a birthday present today, and as I said before, it was my best birthday present because it was my only birthday present today. So.
Well, the day's young, luckily.
Yeah, it is. It is. So.
Things could change.
Yeah.
So how does a young, seemingly successful and exciting 29-year-old get into the title and appraisal business?
Well, I appreciate you using the word successful. It's pretty loose usage of the word. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, interesting background on it. I was actually a golf pro for about 5 years previous to getting in the title. And my boss, Rich DeMonico, who hopefully is tuned in here, he was a member at the club. I used to be the assistant at Pine Barrens down in Jackson. And he actually posted an ad for the appraisal company.
Right.
I went in there. I actually did a little bit of training with one of our appraisers, Buddy. And about a week later, Rich called me in his office and thought it was a prime opportunity to get in the title because they were looking for sales. So I actually originally was going to be on the appraisal side. Right. I was really looking to get out of the golf industry. And 2 years later, here I am with you guys in the title world. So
Nice. So is that one of those, like, we really appreciate all the hard work you've put into this appraisal thing. Now's the perfect time for you to get into the title.
I guess Rich and the powers that be kind of realized maybe appraisal was my thing, I guess. Right. I don't know. So
Destiny called.
Yeah. Well, actually, to go a little further into it, though, I know there was a meeting, actually, between our title department and our underwriter, Westcor. And they just kind of described what I was doing or why I started working with RMS. And one of the employees of Westcor actually said that I was a perfect fit for sales in the title industry because of my golf background. Right. So I don't necessarily – I'm going to attribute it to that right. They just thought because of my golf background, not the fact that
he could be useful.
Yeah, I don't know if am I allowed to say suck? Is that part of it?
Sure.
Yeah.
So maybe the fact that I sucked at appraisal, so it was a swear jar. So maybe that's what it was, and they noticed that a week into it. So So I'm happy to be entitled because apparently I wouldn't have lasted in the appraisal world.
Right.
So.
How's the first 2 years been?
You know, it's been awesome. I'm very happy to make the change for anyone that is in the golf industry or loves the game. It's especially on the employment side of it. Just to have the freedom. The weekends is great. I have had the liberties of making my own schedule relatively. Do a lot of events and a lot of client. Visits, things like that. But the fact that I have the ability to make my schedule, utilize golf to the advantages in the title world, and then have the weekends off are just like it's a completely different world. So
Yeah.
it's nice not having to wake up at 4:30 on a Saturday to get to the pro shop, open up the doors at 6.
That's true.
You're probably waking up at 4:30 now with a crying baby, though.
I would take that any day of the week. So There's good waking up at 4:30, and there's bad waking up at 4:30, and there's times you go to bed at 4:30. So
that's true. I guess you're greeted by one crying baby instead of like 100 crying babies at the club.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. Is like when you go to bed at 4:30, there's a lot worse things than a baby waking up at 4:30. So so it's not too bad. But.
So I always imagine title's got to be a hard sell, because most people probably like, well, I don't even know why you're talking to me about title or what it is. So what is title exactly?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. It is a hard sell because when you buy your home, nobody's really like, oh, I can't wait to go shop my title around.
Right.
So title insurance itself is just what our title company does is we just issue a free and clear title policy to a homeowner, making sure that there's no issues on their property and just in general, any liens and judgments from the previous owner. And we work with the lenders, the attorneys, the realtors, just to make sure everything gets closed on time.
Right.
We also are the settlement agent on the deal. So as you guys are both aware, doing some closings together. So we do handle all the funds and disbursements on the deal.
Right.
But you're right, it is a hard sell because I've had some friends that know I'm in title, and they close on their house, and they're like, oh, I didn't really know what you did. So,
yeah,
they're like, oh, my attorney handled it. So a lot of people don't know it, that you have the right to, you can choose your own title company if you have that relationship. essentially we are the one dealing with all the money, so it
Yeah.
probably is most comfortable to get involved with, have your choice at it. But
Sure.
because of the regulation, it's hard to sell. It's state regulated. Anything you do is regulated, so there's no quoting title. It's all gonna be the same price. It's
Right.
really the relationship business. So it's referral based business. So
Right.
if you have a good relationship with the attorneys, lenders, realtors, and referring work to them, they're gonna push you to the title side. So.
I started laughing because so anyone that's listening to this or watching this, the three of us are in the same networking group, and we're all on the real estate side of it. But I remember you gave a presentation on what title was, and then after the 10-minute presentation, somebody raised their hand and said, "Well, could you explain what title is?" So it's a hard thing to grasp. It's a I do mortgages, so it's something that every borrower sees in their closing cost. And it does say on top, it's a service that you could shop for.
Right.
So if you have that relationship, it's worth asking.
Well, when I did the presentation, I'm just happy that somebody actually asked if I, what title was, because they were at least paying attention when I did titles to some degree. So I think the worst of that group, though, when we did in the beginning, was that one of the girls, unfortunately, has left our group. She asked me, she's like 3 months later from that, she goes, "Wait, do you do title?" And I just, I was like, I guess I don't really know what else I could have done differently there, but I thought that was kind of funny.
So your company RMS Title and Appraisal. So do you have any hands tied into the appraisal side at all, or?
Personally, I'm not a licensed appraiser. I am a licensed title producer, but because of the uniqueness of our company, having title and appraisal, I do help bring business into the company.
Okay.
Our bank clients, and as you guys had on a previous podcast with Mark Colazzo and Alpha Funding, we do a lot of hard money appraisals as well. We specialize in ARV, after repair value appraisals. So with how hot fix and flip investing is for residential and commercial investors, we actually we specialize in ARV appraisal, and we have a lot of hard money lending clients that we do appraisals for.
Okay.
And we also, for me personally, I help bring them into the company, but I personally don't get involved with doing the appraisal itself.
Okay.
So.
Awesome.
And then do you feel like that portion of your business is that catching up with traditional residential sales?
Yeah, I think right now, for me personally, it was probably just from what I can speak from experience, like it was probably about a 90-10 split, where 90% of my work was coming title and 10% commission was from appraisals. It's starting to increase a little bit on the appraisal side. Just we're starting to get a little more busy, and and sales are booming. So I'd say it's probably close to like 80-20 now. But the fact that I primarily am a title rep, it should be that. But I'm sorry, I probably increased my appraisal commission about 10% in the last 3 months.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So what are kind of title pitfalls people should be aware of?
Well, anything in terms of the residential market, fix and flip market, I should say. When a lot of the guys that people that we deal with, investors we deal with, they're doing bank-owned properties and foreclosed properties.
Right.
So you definitely want to have a good title company on your side, so making sure that everything's free and clear when you purchase it, whether it's anything from tax liens on the property to anything attached to the person, the individual that the property. Anything that's attached to the property because of the individual, medical bills, any personal debts incurred.
Right.
So that's the big benefits of having a good title company on your side, whether it's an investment property or you're making the biggest purchase of your life, you're incurring the most debt of your life. So
Right.
you want to make sure you have the right team in place.
Absolutely.
So,
Right. And then I guess basically you don't want to make other people's problems your problem, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
I think that goes
prior
for life.
owners,
Yeah.
right? Totally.
So, yeah. But yeah, that's the thing too, is if you purchase a property that has any liens attached to it, they can become yours.
Right.
So you got to make sure you have the right attorney. Obviously you want to have the right lender, but when you have a right attorney and title company on your side, you're going to close efficiently. And obviously, you want to have the right realtor doing the due diligence work with you, as well as the attorney and the lender. That's just, those are your four main parts. And obviously insurance companies, but, there's a million of them too. So.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll, I guess, let you off the hook about talking about title, since I.
Oh, I love talking
Yeah,
about it.
I do want to ask about the close. You come to your closings.
Yes,
Now,
I
do
try
most do most title sales people do that or no?
Well, I think to be honest with you, from what I've gathered, I'm not sure how many sales reps are out there doing their closings. I am a notary, and then I also am a licensed title producer. Our entire company actually is the same situation. All of our closers are licensed in title, and also They have a couple clients under them, but primarily we'll do the closings. But yes, I like to get out there. It's a couple advantages. You get to meet the seller side, whether it's somebody selling their property to either buy a new one or maybe get involved in investing. You get to meet the realtor on the other side, hand a card, connect with them that way, meet the attorney most of the time, unless, they're sending, depending upon the seller's docs, how they're working at. So, big advantage is meeting the seller side, providing the customer service too, as you allude back to the regulation of title. If you actually are out there meeting the buyer and just showing your face out there, maybe meeting the realtor because you're referred by the attorney, you never even really met the realtor, which happens sometimes, or however it may work. You're just kind of showing the customer service side, which is the way you can stand out from title, because it's all regulated.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've had buddies, again, going back to when I said I'm entitled, that they meet the settlement agent for the first time and never even talk to them before the closing. They meet them at the closing and then they never hear from them again. So, I try to develop
one and done.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think that's probably one of the biggest advantages people like for buyers, especially first time buyers that I've never done this before. Your settlement services basically you take all the money in. And then everyone that's entitled to money as part of the transaction, you get it to where it has to go. So most buyers in the beginning think, oh, my God, I have to write, who do I make this check out to? Who do I write that check out to? So they show up with one check at closing, which is, it makes their life easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they don't have the hassle of, collecting who gets what and all of that.
Yeah, we get the hassle.
Right.
So the back office gets the hassle. I don't personally. So when Patty and Sherry see this, they'll know I personally appreciate them. And then obviously if any of the buyers out there or whoever is on the transaction knew how hard they work behind the scenes to get those disbursements out there.
Honestly, for anyone that's been involved in a real estate transaction, there are so many moving parts that I've worked with Patty and Sherry a lot, and they're definitely like the unsung heroes because every day you're dealing with the mortgage guy's problems, every single person's problems in the transaction all land on their desk. So it's like your day just starts in disarray every day. And you have to piece it together because everyone wants to close in 2 hours.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody wants to close tomorrow, of course. Again, it kind of goes back to what we just said. A lot of people don't even know what title is.
Right.
When people don't know what it is and they just think a closing can occur in the blink of an eye, that's, then they don't realize exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
They probably know what it is when there's a problem, and then you hope you purchase the title insurance.
Well, at that point, you hope you have the policy so you're covered if you're already closing the property, but or if you're planning on closing the property. But again, it just goes back to it. It's not as simple as a 1, 2, 3 transaction. We're going back on the property, making sure everything's free and clear, and making sure there are no issues. So when people don't know what it is and they're paying for it and they want to know what it is, but then don't want to give it the credit of the time that it needs, it's a tough situation. But that's why I try to be as open and honest as I possibly can be, and also be available. I don't mind anybody calling me or any questions, whether it's a professional representative of the transaction or the buyer themselves. You got to be available.
I'll speak on that because we have a couple clients where they're it's a cash out refi closed and he has questions. Andrew's on the phone, and if he doesn't know the answer, he's the first one to pass it off to somebody in his office to get it. It's it makes it smooth.
Right.
Yeah, try. I'm all about smooth.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
So, what's the back of the mullet like? What do you do for fun?
Man. That's a loaded question. Well, now my fun is revolving around the coolest 2-month-old in the world, and that's way cooler than any party and anything you can do back in the day. But I still am an avid golfer. I love playing. I love the fact that I can take that to the client aspect now. I don't let any of the clients beat me because that just doesn't fly with me. No, I'm just kidding. But it's a life-changing experience when you have a child. It's it's pretty cool. But the old Andrew would have probably still had a mullet or something going on. But yeah, no, fun now is taking care of a 2-month-old and using that free time to hang out with family and and some golf. It's pretty simple life right now,
That's awesome.
That's cool. How did you get into golf?
I actually had a pretty bad arm injury when I was in 8th grade. I've actually been this size since like 8th grade. I never grew from there. I grew sideways instead of tall.
Right.
So I was always that taller, chunky kid when I was younger. I could throw relatively hard. So I pitched for a small town in Belmont. Belmont and Avon are combined. So I pitched for a small town. I pitched everything though. Like you pitch school ball, you pitch little league. So you're never telling your coach, who was my dad most of the time, but you're never being honest though with any of the other coaches you had. Like, oh, I didn't pitch yesterday, even though you threw 85 pitches.
Yeah.
So I actually tore my rotator cuff at 13 years old.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, so summer going into freshman year of high school, I was like, all right, so I'm never pitching again. So I picked up a golf club. I played as a little kid a little bit. My dad was an avid golfer. So me tearing my rotator cuff was probably the best thing that happened to me because it turned into, a decent college scholarship and a living for 5 years. And I moved to Florida, worked down in Florida for a little bit too at a club down there. So
and you coached too, right?
and I also coached. Yes, I also coached the St. Rose High School golf team for 3 years, 2013 to 15. So that was pretty cool too. So
How was the team those years?
we were good.
Yeah.
We were good.
The best ever.
Yeah, it's all my coaching. We actually won a state championship, which was pretty cool. I never won one when I was there.
That's crazy.
Nice.
So it's cool to be a part of that. And
And where'd you play your college golf?
I played at Monmouth, so I haven't ventured too far in life. I went about 15 miles, just a smidge north, past Main Street here. So I still lived at home. So had my grandmother do my laundry, so it was pretty.
That's cool.
Yeah. I played at Monmouth. I did the 4-year plan in 5. So as a lot of parents like to brag, oh, my daughter, she did the MBA program in 4 years.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I did the undergrad program in 5. So
Right. Not everyone can do that.
I'm a super senior too.
Yeah, I was a super senior.
So is Nicole.
Yeah.
So how's Monmouth's golf program?
Well, they actually, which is pretty cool. It was actually after I left, so I like to feel like I had impact on it, even though I had none whatsoever. They joined the MAC, which was from the NEC, so a little more scholarship money, bigger exposure. Coach Shea, who's actually still with the program, I want to say he's going on almost 30 years. He's been there for a long time, and maybe 25 years. But great guy. I actually grew up caddying for him at Deal Country Club.
Cool.
He recruited me years ago, and he's gotten the program to the MAC, which is the Metro American Athletic Conference, I believe is what it is.
Right.
So it's just a bigger conference, better programs, Division I, and more money. So the basketball team is reaping the most benefits of it for full scholarships. So it's definitely gone and improved very much since I've left. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, because maybe they're just waiting for me to leave to step up the program.
Get it going.
Yeah.
So
They probably had enough macking on campus while you were there. Right?
That's probably what it was. Wow. What next play on words there? I
Yeah,
like
I like
that one.
that.
That was really that was pretty good. It stunned me there for a second.
right.
I didn't know where this podcast was going to, so I wasn't sure.
So who did you play against while you were there?
So when we were there, we played in the Northeast Conference, which was Division I as well. Anyone that follows NCAA, college basketball, things like that, like the schools there, the better golf teams when I was there were Sacred Heart. They won the NEC a couple years in a row when I was there.
Right.
Quinnipiac, St. Peter's. St. Peter's is now currently in the MAC. It was Manhattan College.
Right.
It was a couple schools like that north the NEC. St. Peter's. St. Francis, New York. St. Francis, Pennsylvania.
Right.
So,
Okay.
But Sacred Heart was always a really pretty good team. A
That's
couple
cool.
local guys played on that team that were pretty good.
Did you play any cool courses?
Yeah, the
during that
coolest
time?
thing in the springtime, we would actually go down to Florida. So anyone that's an avid golfer, we actually played Greg Norman's course, the Medalists. Every year we were down there for spring break. A couple of times that we were there, we ran into a couple of Greg Norman was there one day practicing.
Nice.
We saw Ricky Fowler there, so it was pretty cool,
That is cool.
see those guys and just. We played the Bears Club, which is Jack Nicklaus's club. So we played a couple of really cool courses down there. And I actually used to work at Adios Golf Club, which is always revered as one of the top courses in the world because it's an all-men's club. So I saw some crazy stuff down there, working down there. So I used to see Dan Marino on like a daily basis down there. So he's a cool dude.
That's sweet. Does he wear the isotoners on the course?
No. Yeah, I grew up. I told him I was a Jets fan, so he didn't really care to talk much about football. So. But the coolest guy down there was Carl Yastrzemski. He's a member down there, and
Wow.
Yaz used to play literally every day.
That's cool.
I have a couple of cool stories, just seeing him, and he signed a couple things, and I'm a big baseball guy, so
Right.
he actually had like an old school Triple Crown when he won the back in like '76, I think it was.
Right.
So he had this poster that he like brought in one day to work and handed to me because he knew I was a big Mets fan, and we were talking about the '86 World Series a little bit. So
That's awesome.
even
That's
I
pretty cool.
So it was pretty cool down there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're definitely throwing out your sports prowess of your sports knowledge and everything. I just happen to have some inside information because, as Mike said, we're in the same networking group. But I know you weren't too proud to admit. I mean, you didn't care. You threw it out there that you're also a big fan of Say Yes to the Dress. So how did that come about?
I actually, it's funny when Jen sees this, she might be seeing it now on Facebook Live. I watched it this morning with her actually for about a half hour.
Right.
So
I thought you were gonna say you watched it without her, which would have been trouble.
I've done that before. So yeah, listen, man, you got once you have a child,
By the way, you are wearing baby blue. I just want to point out.
I would like to thank you for that.
Are we allowed to talk about that one too?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh,
sure.
we'll get to that.
Stay with the Say Yes to the Dress.
Oh, cool, yeah, man. So a couple, now that I have a child, I pretty much can watch anything and get away with it. So, yeah. So I was watching this morning. I woke up. It was like 7:30, and next thing you know, I'm back on the couch, and Jen's feeding the baby, and little Jack, and there's Say Yes to the Dress. And the chick on the show was from the South, and she couldn't find. It was like her 85th dress to try on in multiple different shots. So I got into it, man. It's a drama. It's nerve wracking, You're like, oh my god, like the mom is like freaking out. She's like willing to pay more for the dress.
Like, I can't believe she's gonna do it.
I know, man.
What does she think?
No way, she can try on 100 dress. You know what I mean? So it's like,
So where would you tell the ladies to go for a dress? What's the place?
Oh man, what's funny? I don't even know the name of the store, but the people on the show are hilarious. Like I could watch it all day.
Right.
It's terrible. This thing.
It's funny. Listen, I mean, we all got our things. Like I admitted, like I watched The Bachelor, so I was up last night catching up on The Bachelorette. Unfortunately, I fell asleep, so I didn't see the rose ceremony.
Yeah,
but
so
I got something to look forward to tonight.
Yeah, no, I hear it. Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone, you flip on the show and it's what are you gonna do? It's a great show.
Yeah, it happens.
So I mean, if we can keep talking about the TV shows, I know what's coming next.
So why do you love the color baby blue?
Oh, great!
There
That's a great way to segue into this one. So if I don't know if we can blast out names on this, but I'll just keep it to like the respective occupations. We were at at the Bomber Law Group and RMS did a co-networking event 2 Tuesdays ago, and it was a really great turnout. At High Voltage, I thought it was fantastic.
It was an awesome spot.
Yeah,
That's right.
really cool
That was
spot.
nice.
Yeah, and
Killer food.
the
Yeah,
food was good.
sure.
The people were great, and that's all we need to talk about it, though, right? We don't need to keep going.
That's fine.
We don't need to talk. But I'm saying we don't need to talk about anything else.
That's
on
good.
Nicknames or anything.
It's a
like
great
that?
name.
So, but what happened? So I was actually, kind of making my rounds, just trying to meet some of the people that were there, and this realtor goes, I never met him before in my life. He goes, "What's up, Robin Egg Blue bitch?" And I'm like, what? I was like, yeah. So I was wearing this fleece that had a Robin, like it was like apparently it was Robin Egg Blue. I guess that's my color. I guess. So,
Apparently.
but what happened?
Egg.
Yeah, it had it like Robin Egg Blue. I was like, oh, cool. I guess like that wasn't specific or anything. Right? Couldn't, so it turned out though that one of the financial advisors there, I had met her not a few months ago at the Jersey Shore Chamber events, and she's pretty cool. And like we kind of like know we can joke around a little bit. And she told him to call me that, and I never met him before. So I guess that got to go a little bit of my personality that I could be like, oh, that's cool. You can call me,
People know that they could be comfortable.
That was probably one of the funniest descriptions I ever heard.
Yeah,
like
that's
at
hilarious.
a little networking event, right?
So that was the cool part about that, though, is that on purpose, we actually, ironically enough, had the Jersey Shore Chamber golf outing the next morning, and I wore that fleece again.
Nice.
I didn't wash it, but I wore it again the next morning, and because she was one of the organizers, she's on the chamber board or whatever, and so I wore it there on purpose just to kind of create the attention again.
Right.
And that nickname stuck for at least another 24 hours, but.
We're hoping to perpetuate it, right?
Yeah, that's exciting. So, but yeah, the best part about it though, too, on top of that, was that at our meeting last week, Evan had the great idea to tell our LaTip president, like, because we have an icebreaker every week to.
It's a good nickname.
Yeah, so Evan decided that we were going to tell nicknames, and I happened to tell the story. And
Sweet.
Yeah.
It was like back to back. Say yes to the dress, and then your new nickname. It was a couple weeks.
back to back.
Everyone's really getting to know you.
Back to back weeks. Basically, people can say, I'm a Robin Egg Blue wearing bitch, and and that I watched Say Yes to the Dress.
Nice.
So if again, I work for RMS Title, so if you
That's
guys
right,
want to use this,
Yeah.
as, you want to work with this,
It's true. I guess on a more positive note, how do you feel about the Mets and Jets' chances this year?
Awesome. Wow, that's a wow. So let's go back to
Right
my
for the
nicknames
heart.
here. Oh my god. So oh man, the way to get me started on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really. It's funny. Jen, my girlfriend, can attest to it. When we were 14 and 4, 14 and 6, we started hitting a little slump. I think we went 2 and 5 in that situation to get to 14 and 6. Whatever the situation was, I was like, oh, here comes a downfall. Like I knew that this team was overperforming in the beginning of the year. Just They weren't built to last all year because I think the age and unfortunately the way the pitching staff was going. But yeah, there's really no positivity right now to be a Mets fan.
Right.
At all.
Right.
Other than the fact that I guess you could use it as a legitimate excuse to drink on a daily basis.
Right.
So that's one thing. And then actually, I am excited not this year for the Jets, but I'm excited next year, 2019, for the
Right.
Jets. They're gonna have a lot of money freed up, and I personally wanted Darnold. So I was actually the Thursday night of the draft. I was in the hospital while Jen was in labor.
Right.
We're watching the draft, and when the Cleveland Browns took Baker Mayfield, I was like, yes, like in the hospital because
Right.
I didn't want him, and I knew the hype was for him. So when the Giants took Saquon Barkley, I was just like, I was so pumped. I wanted him, and then I realized I was like, oh my god, my kid can be born any second, so I
Right.
got to get back into that zone.
Not back to reality.
It's funny, man.
So,
it's
yeah.
like, what I'll say for the Mets is I've been pretty much a lifelong Astros fan, and so we had a lot of success, but then we also endured recently like 4 or 5 of the biggest losing seasons, like 100+ losses,
Yeah.
So I seriously wondered if I ever see him win a World Series, and then we pulled it off last year. And when my oldest daughter was born, we were in the hospital. That's when they were in the World Series against the White Sox. But
Yeah.
we got swept in 4, unfortunately.
What was that, 06 or so?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Remember, yeah.
Yep.
I remember that one.
That was Killer Bees vintage.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's the Mets. They could be a rebuild away. You never know.
Yeah. Well, a great story actually that I have is a very very close family friend is actually he got all the way to the AAA level
Right.
of umpiring, and with no names mentioning, he has very reliable sources in the Mets organization, and I can't to this day I don't know what I'm gonna how I'm gonna live with myself as a Mets fan, but.
Right.
In 2015, after the conclusion of 15 when we lost the World Series, there was always a lot of issues with Matt Harvey and everything like that.
Right.
But there was apparently there was a trade offer for Carlos Correa straight up for Matt Harvey after
No
that
way.
season. And I can just think to myself, you can play money quarterback all you want, but
Right.
it really wasn't. It's not rocket science that Matt Harvey wasn't fitting in with that organization.
Totally.
And I know he just pitched crazy in the World Series and demanded the ball and going out in the 9th inning, even though
Right.
Familia should have been in that game at that point. Let's not get to that again, no. But yeah, we could have had Carlos Correa straight up for Harvey after that season. And when I heard that story, I was just like,
Wow.
I mean, that would have been, team changing.
Yeah.
That would have
Two
been life
team
changing.
changing.
Yeah, it would have been.
Right.
It would have been. Although the Astros are built pretty solid because benefit of losing as much as they did.
Right.
They picked up.
A lot of
got
early draft
Correa,
picks, right.
Altuve, and all those guys. Gurriel and that Bregman kid. So
Right.
there's a lot of positives with the Astros organization. Even
Yeah.
though DeGrom might go to the Yankees, so our only positive could go to the Yankees, and that would literally just probably put me over the edge.
He's like the dude you got to lock up, right?
No.
I would think so, but I don't know enough about how teams develop young talent. So apparently, if you trade DeGrom to the Yankees and get Andujar and all these
Right.
guys, Torreyes and all these guys, I don't know. But I don't know at what point he's 31, DeGrom, so you sign him to a 5-year deal. He's probably got some lifespan left. So,
Right.
but I don't know. What do I know? I'm just sitting here at a podcast.
That's right.
You know?
Peddling title.
Yeah. trying to get title business. Says wearing my Robin Egg blue shirt. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Still talking about the golf glory days at
Yeah,
Monmouth U.
absolutely. Those are the days.
That's cool.
Monmouth U, St. Rose High School.
So I guess in a part of your title, also you seem to be, to me, definitely tapped into the local networking scene. Like you're out there a lot. So what are your favorite networking events? What kind of stuff do you hit?
Yeah. I try to get. I got involved with the Jersey Shore Chamber of Commerce. Most recent, we did their golf outing and a couple of their events. So getting involved, tapping into that local market with the chambers are always a great idea. I like the events a lot. In terms of investors, because our title company and our appraisal company do a lot of work with investors or investor related companies like hard money lenders.
Right.
The Jersey Shore Flippers Funders, which happens in Asbury Park, first Thursdays in the month, and then there's one up in there's two up in North Jersey. Flippers Funders is on meetup.com. You can take a peek at it. I like those events a lot. And then the NJRESN, the Real Estate Social Network. They originated in Garwood, and they brought down the Monmouth County chapter. It's the NJRESN 2. So we go to that. We're actually the title and appraisal sponsor of that one, as well as the title sponsor for the Flippers Funders. So those are two of my favorite events, and all the chamber stuff, whether it's Jersey Shore, Asbury Park, Greater Ocean,
Right.
all those chamber events, and then the Monmouth Ocean County Regional Realtors has the affiliate program, so they do a lot of events. The Moore, they do a lot of events, and they have the Young Professionals
The
Network,
YPN.
the YPN, yeah. So they do a lot of affiliate programs, a lot of events, fun events that are energetic. They do like a karaoke night. They do things like that. So.
Right.
Yeah,
You
so
did a Devils game, right?
we did. It was in March. We were
Yeah.
we sponsored a bus trip up to the Devils game.
awesome.
Yeah. So that was a fun one. So
Got that Devil's plug in. Nice.
yeah,
I
we
had
the
to,
Devils
I had
plug
to.
in.
You
So
guys are talking
I know. I was looking
baseball
at.
and-
I couldn't tell who it was over there.
It's green.
There he is. There's Andy Green right there.
That's
So,
cool.
although I'm not a huge hockey fan, and for some reason I never got into it as a kid,
it's the
but
best.
I know it's terrible. But we actually got a "Let's Go Rangers" chant started out there when the Rangers were still in playoff contention. So we were getting booed left and right.
So is it a Devils Rangers game?
No, it was a Devils Flames. So it wasn't.
And you
even-
were cheering.
We were yelling.
Dude.
We were doing "Let's Go Rangers."
I would have left.
I'm sure
I
you
would have walked
would
away.
have. So yeah, the fact that we started another team's chant and Devils were playing a team from another country actually were
Yeah.
kind of.
So we, the three of us, have a networking event coming up, right?
We do.
right.
Yeah, looking forward to that next Friday, the 6th.
The 6th, yeah. So, Ming, if you're around,
Excuse me.
we're gonna be actually going to Anchor's Bend. If there's any realtors that are listening to this or know us or see us on Facebook, we're gonna be doing a beach bar, tiki bar, happy hour starting at 2 p.m. on the 6th. So
Nice.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. That'll be a lot of fun, and anyone wants to come by, come check it out.
Awesome.
Good to see us.
yeah,
That's right.
There's a pretty good chance I'll be wearing blue.
baby blue.
Probably.
Yeah, a really good chance.
And you
so.
can wish Andrew a belated happy birthday. Buy him a drink. That
Yeah,
day.
no, you don't have to buy me a drink. I'm gonna try to tame it down a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
if-
I've heard that a bunch of times.
yeah, oh, great. Another person that's heard it a bunch of times, so that says it. So
That's cool.
man.
All right,
So-
Andrew, any parting words about title? Anything you'd like to say about RMS?
I know. I appreciate you guys having me on there. I love working for RMS. It's a great opportunity. I'm glad to free up my schedule and do things like this during the 9 to 5 workday.
Right.
So, feel free to get any of us about our services together. We do a lot of closing together. So, if anything specific for title or appraisal, my information will be loaded up there, and
Nice.
Awesome.
Very cool.
let me know.
Is there a RMS has an Instagram account, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
You can check out RMS at RMS Title and Appraisal on Instagram. You can also find them online at rmsta.com. Andrew, anywhere in particular people should reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Email is andrew@rmsta.com. And feel free to shoot me an email anytime. We actually have access on our website too, rmsta.com. If you ever have any questions on appraisal or title, we have a pretty informative website that you can actually order online. And it also has a quote calculator for the title perspective, so you can kind of get an idea of what your costs are and what costs are associated with obtaining a title policy. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely use that on your site a lot and send clients to the title calculator because everyone always wants to know what's title going to cost. But then even if they're shopping around, like you said earlier, a lot of the fees are statutory, so it's going to be the same no matter where you go. So it's a great resource.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
check
and basically, when people are shopping around, there might be a couple $1 difference of what can be charged and some things that aren't charged. But when it really comes down to the service aspect, I think, I'm not really sure there's a better company out there. So, so definitely take a peek at the website. If you ever, even if you don't use us and you are, I feel like we have a pretty pretty cool website that has everything broken down well out there, so you can at least know what you're getting charged.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool.
So
All right, Andrew Hurley from RMS Title and Appraisal. Thanks for coming in today. Happy
Thank you, dude.
birthday.
yeah,
Happy birthday.
thanks guys.
Once again, check out rmsta.com. I'm Evan Balmer. I'm an attorney with the Balmer Law Group. You can check me out on Instagram at Evan Balmer or at balmerlawgroup.com.
Mike Mercia. You can check me out at mortgageguy_Mike on Instagram or Mercia Mortgage on Facebook. Dude, happy to have you.
Thanks guys.
This was fun.
Happy birthday, Andrew.
I'm gonna go celebrate. It's my birthday. All right, guys.